India, good evening. This is Times Now. You're watching the NewsHour Agenda. The Lok Sabha saw some stormy scenes and stormy debate. The Delhi Services Bill, which has been a subject of intense face-off between the centre and the Aam Aadmi Party, sailed through the lower house of Parliament after a day-long debate. Leading the charge from the government side was Union Home Minister Amit Shah, who rained fire on the Kejriwal government in Delhi and the opposition grouping backing up. Shah said that AAP is opposing the bill only because it wants to hide the corruption. The Home Minister also made a reference to Times Now's Operation Sheeshmahal, saying that the AAP government in Delhi wanted control of Vigilance Department because it wants no questions asked on CM's bungalow purge. Shah's second target was the opposition alliance, India Bloc as they have called it, who he accused of backing AAP's corruption just for saving the alliance. He said that this is an alliance of the corrupt. Sample what he said.
मेरी अपील है विपक्ष के सदस्यों को कि आप दिल्ली की सोचिए, अलायंस की मत सोचिए। अलायंस से फायदा नहीं होने वाला है। अलायंस होने के बाद भी पूर्ण बहुमत से नरेंद्र मोदी प्रधानमंत्री बनने वाले हैं। इसलिए ये अलायंस के कारण जनता के हितों की बलि मत चढ़ाइए। जनता सब देख रही है। अगर हमारी राजनीति में थोड़ी स्वीकृति कम है तो सबको मिलाना है। दिल्ली का जो होना है वो हो, जितना भ्रष्टाचार होना है वो हो, मंत्री कुछ भी करे, मुख्यमंत्री।
आप 1980, 90 और 2000 के दशक के अपनी पार्टी के नेताओं के बयान देख लीजिए। लाल कृष्ण आडवाणी जी दिल्ली को पूर्ण राज्य का दर्जा बनाने के लिए दिल्ली स्टेटहुड बिल 2003 में लाए थे और कहते थे कि दिल्ली को स्टेटहुड मिले, दिल्ली को सारी शक्तियां मिले, दिल्ली में अपनी सरकार हो और पूर्ण राज्य का दर्जा मिले। साहिब सिंह वर्मा जी, मदन लाल खुराना जी, जो इनके स्टॉलवर्ड्स हुआ करते थे। अमित शाह जी अपनी पार्टी के जो बहुत स्टॉलवर्ड्स रहे, जो इस पार्टी के एक प्रकार से संस्थापक रहे, पार्टी की रीढ़ की हड्डी रहे, आडवाणी जी के, उनके बयान पढ़ लें। पंडित नेहरू के बयानों तक जाने की आवश्यकता नहीं है।
Opposition parties also charged back at Amit Shah, with Congress MP Adhir Ranjan Chaudhary mounting a spirited defense for full statehood for Delhi.
69th Amendment 1991 was passed by Parliament, which inserted Articles 239AA and 239BB in the Constitution and provided for a legislative assembly in Delhi. The 69th Amendment Act roughly restored the kind of governance system that was offered to Delhi in 1952, a union territory with a legislative assembly, council of ministers, and an elected chief minister with limited mandate. ये यूनियन टेरिटरी बने 1956 में। मेरा सिर्फ यही कहना है कि अब जो भी कहे, शंका हमारे इसलिए है कि हिंदुस्तान में से एक ही राज्य दिल्ली नहीं है।
You're watching the News Hour at 10, debate number 1 on Times Now, Super Prime Time.
Let's open this up. RP Singh, the national spokesperson of the Bharatiya Janata Party, Dr. Anand Ranganathan, author, commentator, social, wears many hats. Lokesh Jindal, leader of the Congress party. Dr. Nawal Kishore Yadav, the national spokesperson of the RJD representing Team India. Ghanshyam Tiwari will be joining us soon. He's the national spokesperson of the Samajwadi Party. And Dr. Akashdeep Muni completes the panel. Good evening, gentlemen. Lokesh Jindal, I want to begin by asking you, do you remember what Congress leaders would say after the ordinance was brought? They said that, look, what the centre has done is the right thing. The Congress should not back the Aam Aadmi Party. What changed?
Well, the manner in which the Supreme Court's judgment was disregarded by the central government and the haste with which the central government brought in an ordinance, made a mockery out of 69th Constitutional Amendment Act. In fact, if you talk about the entire constitutional democratic framework of India, over here the administration has always been subservient to the elected government. But I fail to understand that if you remove entire checks and controls of the elected government over the administration, how do you expect the elected government to function? What is the elected government over here for? What is this order of precedence? If you want to do away with the 69th Constitutional Amendment Act and Article 239AA, be it, introduce a Constitutional Amendment Act directly. But what is this? Why are you making a mockery out of it? The larger idea is the present constitutional framework already separates land, law and order outside the purview of the government of New Delhi. And the existing framework is quite conducive to what the government...
let's not... No, 1 minute. 1 minute. Lokesh Jindal, what do you think of... Let me rephrase my question. Actually, I should have asked you this first. What do you think of Operation Sheeshmahal that we showed?
Well, that Operation Sheeshmahal needs to be investigated by the central government. And
what do you think
a lot
of
of information... There isn't a large information available.
Of course, there is.
In the public domain.
We ran the story for 2 weeks, 14 days.
Sorry? Please come again.
What more information do you want? The amount of money, the number of rooms, the square feet available, fittings, tiles.
I think the central government agencies are the authorities that are supposed to reveal information. And not me. I do not have any.
Mr. Jindal, this was a Times Now investigation. As someone who's in public life, you must have a view on it. What's your view on Operation Sheeshmahal? An Aam Aadmi chief minister splurging 45 crores. What's your view quickly?
Pranesh, to be very frank, if you talk about the spending from the state exchequer, comptroller and auditor general is the right authority to raise the flags, to check into the public property, public accounts.
ये तो वही बात हुई लोकेश जिंदल जो कल अधीर रंजन चौधरी बोल रहे मजबूरी है आपकी.
Why isn't the central
अब आप
government
क्या
acting?
बोलेंगे?
What's stopping the central government to act?
Forget this. Only if you take a position can you expect the central government to act. You don't have a position. Dr. Ranganathan, why are we seeing this?
No, there is, good evening, first of all, Pranesh, good evening to my fellow panelists and especially to my good friend, Lokesh Jindal. Pranesh, there is something called pre-India and post-India, India being I.N.D.I.A. So whatever Lokesh says is post-India, it's not pre-India. But can I come back to the thrust of the whole issue? And there are 3 points here. It's a very serious issue. Let's go by just facts. Look, Pranesh, this constant fight over who controls Delhi, honestly, is like an unending Saas Bahu serial. It makes us Delhiites look like fools while they pass the buck and use conflicting authority as an excuse for maladministration. Remember how Kejriwal promised to turn Delhi into London? And all we've got is Big Ben ka ghanta. And his excuse always is no one is allowing him to work. To be sure, the Congress and the BJP are to be blamed the most because they have repeatedly promised complete statehood to Delhi and they have been in power in the center for the last 24 years. But the moment they are at the center, they refuse to fulfill what they promised. Delhiites actually thought the 2018 Supreme Court judgment that said LG had no independent decision-making powers and was bound to follow the aid and advice of the Council of Ministers on all matters except police, public order and land would have made everything clear. But it didn't. And the politicians were up to their games again, with amendments flying left and right and center, and now this latest Supreme Court judgment we thought would put matters to rest once and for all, but yet again it hasn't. 3 quick points here. Number 1, I think it is wrong for the center to have brought in first the ordinance and then this bill that effectively negates the thrust of the Supreme Court decision. Number 2, a CJI-headed 5-judge constitution bench unanimously ordered that, quote, the legislative power of the NCT Delhi would extend to IAS and it shall control them even if they are not recruited by NCT Delhi. However, it would not extend the services that come under land, law and order and police. LG shall be bound by the decision of NCT Delhi over services apart from land, police and law and order, unquote. But then, why on earth did the Supreme Court insert into its verdict multiple loopholes whereby the center could and has challenged the verdict itself? Let me explain, just 1 minute. Read paras 78 to 86 along with 164 and it is amply clear that the center can, through legislation, remove services from Delhi's legislative and executive domain. And the cherry on the top is para 95, quote. However, if Parliament enacts a law granting executive power on any subject which is within the domain of NCTD, the executive power of LG shall be modified to the extent as provided in the law. Number 3, for those who are calling the negation of the Supreme Court judgment as murder of constitution, I want to ask this. In the last 9 years, the only time Modi government has negated a Supreme Court verdict is when it overturned the Supreme Court decision that outlawed the draconian amendments of the SC/ST Act. Why did AAP and Congress support the Modi government then? So that was not murder of constitution. Pranesh, just 30 seconds. Every last one of these politicians is a hypocrite. The Congress and the BJP for promoting total statehood to Delhi and then taking a U-turn, and AAP for voting for the overturning of a Supreme Court verdict by the Modi government just because they wanted to placate as vote bank. जाए तो जाए कहां, करें तो करें क्या?
बोले तो बोले क्या? लोकेश जिंदल तो बोल नहीं पा रहे हैं, कांग्रेस की मजबूरी है. आई एम श्योर others on the panel. Ghanshyam Tiwari is also with us. Good evening, Mr. Tiwari. RP Singh, granting statehood to Delhi, sir, if you can hear me, was part of BJP's manifesto. आज आप बोल रहे हैं कि ये तो करप्शन की अलायंस है. आप भी भूल गए क्या हुआ तेरा वादा?
Okay, now first let me call the bluff of my friend on the Congress, Mr. Jindal, who said that because of the Supreme Court, we have changed our stand. No, it's not true, sir. After the Supreme Court order, Ajay Makhan on 23rd of May made a statement and said that he is urging the Congress party not to support Aam Aadmi Party on this ordinance. So this is on record. So the problem is, as per the suitability, they are doing it. And again, it's only till the time this ordinance will turn into a bill, they are with each other on the same pitch. There are two teams playing together. There are two teams who are batting together. And then there are one man upset because one has has said that it's a semi-final before the election. And other teams said, if they win the semi-final or they are able to make the mark because of semi-final, so we will be left behind. So they came with vote of no confidence. So this is a game going on. This is a political game going on between the Kejriwal and the Congress party. Bill or no bill, that's not the issue at all, because Congress party leaders on record has said Delhi services should be with the LG or with the broader domain of the system. Because Mr. Kejriwal has blown away the basic ethics of the city governance. If the chief secretary is called at home and thrashed by the colleagues of the chief minister at his residence and the case is still on, or if the vigilance head is transferred because he is looking into the matter of the liquor scam, he is investigating the matter of liquor scam, or he is investigating the sheeshmahal or other matters which are.
But you didn't answer the question, RP Singh ji. I asked you a direct question. What happened to the promise of statehood?
I'm coming to that, sir. I'm coming to that only. Sir, in this condition, where you thrash a chief secretary, where the secretaries or the bureaucrats are called, are threatened. I give you name: Ashish Moore, Kiran Singh, Shurveer Singh. They are the bureaucrats who have been called and threatened by the ministers, saying that you sign on our dotted line or we'll transfer you. And they have put their complaints and said that please transfer us, we are not going to sign on the dotted line. Or where the state asked the bureaucrats to do backdate documentation. The cabinet meetings decisions are the decisions which are taken.
RP Singh ji, you're not answering the question, sir. You've also thrashed the people of Delhi, metaphorically, figuratively, by going back on the manifesto promise. आपने बोला कुछ, किया कुछ, इसीलिए डॉक्टर रंगनाथन बोल रहे थे, जाए तो जाए कहाँ, बोले तो बोले क्या?
इस कंडीशन में आपको लगता है, सर, अगर आपको लगता है कि दिल्ली को स्टैंड स्टिल पे ले आना चाहिए, जब ब्यूरोक्रेट्स के हम काम नहीं करेंगे, हम पे दबाव बनाया जाएगा, हमको पीटा जाएगा, हम काम नहीं करेंगे, तो क्या करोगे आप? Do you want Delhi to run? And Delhi is not only Kejriwal who stands up in an assembly and says, मैं दिल्ली का मालिक हूँ, मैं दिल्ली का मालिक हूँ. And then if that is the attitude, then what is the option? Delhi is not confined to Delhi.
Okay, quick comment, Dr. Ranganathan. Ghanshyam Tiwari, I am coming to you.
Just 2 points. Number here, I was listening to what Mr. Amit Shah said and his wonderful speech. And he mentioned that, look, since Kejriwal has done corruption, and I, for one, believe that sheeshmahal is completely steeped in corruption, fellow should be prosecuted for it. But Mr. Amit Shah was saying that because there is so much rampant corruption, we need the vigilance to go after it. So a simple question. In Gujarat, if there is corruption, there is a vigilance commission and department, but that comes under the Gujarat government. So why is this double standard for Delhi? If there is vigilance and you want to go after Kejriwal, why shouldn't the vigilance commission come under the Delhi state government?
RP Singh ji, quickly answer that question.
Ranganathan ji, have you ever heard about any chief secretary being called home and thrashed by the MLAs or by the colleagues of the chief minister? I haven't ever heard in my 45 years of political career. This we have seen for the first time. Or when have you seen at 2 o'clock at night the office of the chief vigilance officer is open and the files are tampered or removed, or we don't know.
RP Singh ji, then bring a bill to increase the security of the chief secretary. ये तो आप विजिलेंस ये जो है भाई, you're not answering the question. I'm sorry, I understand the larger point you're making, Mr. RP Singh, but you're not. Okay, but let's open this up now. Okay, Dr. Ranganathan, let me.
Just 5 seconds.
Okay, take 5 seconds, Dr. Ranganathan. Okay.
I beg of you, because RP Singh ji
is called to go to the house of the chief minister, not to be.
Because RP Singh ji is a very dear friend. That's why just 5 seconds. It is a criminal offense to assault an officer on duty. I want to ask the BJP government at the center, what is the step? Who was arrested when the vigilance officer was thrashed at someone's residence? Did you arrest someone for that, sir?
Matter is still sub judice, and
matter is sub judice.
Pursued at the judicial level, and obviously.
Okay, we'll come back to that, but let's get back to the larger debate. Ghanshyam Tiwari, the BJP believes that this is an alliance of corruption. एक corrupt दूसरे corrupt को बचा रहा है.
Well, 2 quick things. Good evening to you, the viewers and fellow co-panelists. I want to ask RP Singh or other panelists that as per the bill, the Chief Minister, Chief Secretary of Delhi and Principal Home Secretary are the people who will decide about. They constitute the National Capital Services, Civil Services Authority. Does anyone here know who the Principal Home Secretary of Delhi is? Do people of Delhi know who the Chief Secretary is? Does RP Singh know? Do they know who has these people been in the last 8 years? The fact is, people of Delhi vote for a Chief Minister. People on the panel, including Pranesh, you will probably not know these people, who now are extrajudicial authority against the spirit of Constitution, against what the Supreme Court said. Supreme Court said, if a democratically elected government is not allowed to control its officers and hold them to account, then its responsibility towards legislature and public is diluted. Who wants this to be diluted? The people who run the Parliament of India. When are they passing this bill? When they face a no confidence motion. Why do they face no confidence motion? Because they have let an entire state burn to ashes. Women get paraded naked in Manipur, and the Prime Minister is cowardly sitting in his chair, not walking into the parliament and responding. Do they have any moral authority? Does it matter what Amit Shah says? He is responsible
Mr. Tiwari,
for
all this is very well for you to say. Where do you have the numbers? You can bring in another no confidence motion. Number kahan se aayega, sir?
Which judges had the numbers, right? But when you have dictators or
fight, I am saying if you have a problem, you can fight that fight in the court. I am only asking you a larger question.
We will fight that fight at a moral level, at the parliament, on the street, with the people. Today we are in a situation that learned people like Anand Ranganathan has to refer India as I.N.D.I.A. You will have to refer that. ANI has to refer that. This is the state of India. That people who grew up in India have always
that's the name of the alliance.
That's the name of the alliance.
Allow me to I did not interrupt anyone. No one refers N.D.A. or B.J.P. So let us call a spade or a spade. We have a government that is not bound by any morality. They can, sitting on a no confidence motion, they can pass a bill which is
You're
against
talking
the
about
spirit of
morality.
Constitution,
What do you think of what?
against people of?
Okay, what do you
There's
think
no
of
what
cases
about
against
here.
the Lalu Yadav? No, the Lalu
we are
Yadav
talking about
family.
today.
Let's
We
talk
are
about
talking
morality,
about
propriety.
We are talking
Then
about
I'll
today.
come to the Operation sheeshmahal.
We are talking
आपने तो
about
देखा
today.
होगा
You know-
लोकेश जिंदल की मजबूरी आपकी भी मजबूरी है.
Pranesh, let me tell you this. Do you know how many BJP MPs and MLAs have criminal charges? Not 10, not 100, not 200, not 300, not 400, more than 400. Is there any party in the history of India which has sitting MPs and MLAs who have more than 400 criminal charges? What are we talking about? There are criminals who have taken over a party and they want the country to
Lalu
believe that
Yadav,
whatever
1
they
minute,
do
Mr.
is
Tiwari, Lalu
constitutional.
Yadav was convicted by the court. He was
Yes,
part of this
that is-
grand meeting in Patna and in Bengaluru. अब आप देखिए सच सुना तो फ्रेम फ्रीज हो गया. I'm not blaming you, but this can happen.
You asked a question. Allow me one sentence completion. That we are talking about this in defense of a bill who has been accused for molesting 1,000 girls.
This is not about
From Taliban
accusations. I am talking
to-
about people who are
from Taliban
convicted. What is the
anywhere.
message you're saying?
He
No,
is a-
you are taking
Please
1
don't
minute,
interrupt.
Mr. Tiwari.
Please
Now
don't
hear me
interrupt.
out, sir.
I'm
1
saying-
minute. I'll go
there
to
is
your
no
colleagues
defense of
also.
BJP.
I'll go to Dr. Nawal Kishore Yadav. RJD के स्पोक्सपर्सन है, उनसे ज्यादा आप डिफेंड कर रहे हैं. नवल किशोर यादव जी, ये बताइए लालू यादव को सजा हुई थी कि नहीं हुई थी?
पता नहीं आपको जानकारी है कि नहीं. वो सजा लोअर कोर्ट से हुई थी, ये भी जानकारी
अरे भाई
आपको
कोर्ट
कि
तो
नहीं?
है, लोअर कोर्ट क्या है? लोअर कोर्ट को नहीं
भाई,
मानते आप?
पहले सुनो ना, कोर्ट का मतलब समझते हो क्या आप?
बता दीजिए.
जुडिशियल आर्किटेक्चर
कोर्ट नहीं, एक मिनट यादव जी सुनिए, कोर्ट क्या है? C.O.U.R.T. ये इसका भी कोई नया मतलब है तो बता दीजिए.
If you want to speak nonsense on air, you are free to do that. Because you
Mr.
are not
Yadav,
you are center of the government.
This
You must mind
argument
your
is
language.
nonsensical,
You
but
must
I will
mind
still
your
allow you to
language.
make your point.
You
Go ahead.
must- No. Who are you to allow me or not allow me? I am a panelist. I have right to speak. Don't speak like Amit Shah. You are not Home Minister of India.
गुस्सा
you-
क्यों हो रहे
you can-
सर?
you- क्या है? आप गुस्सा इसलिए हो रहे हैं कि आप जो बात कर रहे हैं उसका कोई मतलब नहीं है.
अच्छा,
आपको ये बताना
लालू
चाहिए
यादव
कि
को
जो
सजा हुई थी,
constitution-
मैंने तो इतना ही बोला. आप तो
इतना
आप तो जेल कर देंगे मुझे.
नहीं, आप इतने घटिया तरीके से आप बोलते हैं कि बोलना ही पड़ेगा. ये आपको ये समझ में आता है कि सुन लीजिए पहले. आपका चैनल
यादव
है,
जी
आपका
देखिए, एक
अधिकार
बात सुन लीजिए, एक बात. नवल किशोर यादव जी सुनिए, नवल किशोर यादव जी, घटिया तरीके से क्या? अगर किसी को सजा हुई तो मैं क्या बोलूं कि कोर्ट से गलती हो गई, उनको सजा देके?
अरे फिर वही बात, आप समझेंगे नहीं तो समझेंगे कैसे? यही समझदारी आपकी जो है आपको कमजोर करती है. जो कोर्ट से सजा हुई है वो लोअर कोर्ट है. लोअर कोर्ट की जो सजा होती है वो हाई कोर्ट और सुप्रीम कोर्ट में खारिज होती है. लालू यादव जी के केस में, डीए केस में सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने उनको बाइज्जत बरी किया है. आपको ये भी मालूम होगा कि 2014 के पहले जब उनको सजा हुई थी तो 4 केस बंद हुए थे. वो बंद केस जब खुले, वो किसने खोला और क्यों खोला आपको मालूम है? ये भी आपको मालूम है कि जो केस 2008 में बंद हो चुके थे, जिसका आपका चर्चा अगले बार करेंगे, वो भी उन्होंने आकर अभी खोला है.
अच्छा, अब आप सुनिए, मैं आपको देखिए, अब सुन लीजिए यादव जी, देखिए मुझे भी तो बोलने दीजिए. मैं भी तो तैयारी करके आया हूँ. सुनिए, मैं भी तो तैयारी करके आया हूँ. सुनिए, मुझे पता था ये आएगा. अब मुझे आप लोअर कोर्ट हायर कोर्ट की बात कर रहे हैं. आप मानते ना सुप्रीम कोर्ट में?
आप भाजपा के कार्यालय से तैयारी करके आते हैं, इसलिए
अब आप देखिए, यही कर सकते हैं आप. एंकर के साथ बदतमीजी कर लीजिए, गाली गलौज कर लीजिए, बोल दीजिए मैं अमित शाह हूं, भाजपा के कार्यालय से तैयारी किया. नवल किशोर यादव जी देखिए, सवाल का जवाब अगर नहीं है, सवाल का जवाब अगर नहीं है तो आप कह सकते हैं कि मुझे मौका दीजिए, मैं आगे पढ़ के आऊंगा. ऐसे अटैक मत कीजिए. अब आप सुनिए, मैं आपको बताता हूं. सुप्रीम कोर्ट में मानते हैं आप?
प्लीज गो अहेड.
सुप्रीम कोर्ट में मानते हैं? आपको पता है जो अब सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने जिन लोगों को सजा दे दी, एक तो जो हैंगिंग थी, जो एग्जीक्यूशन था, जो डेथ सेंटेंस था, उसको भी इंडिया अलायंस के जो कुछ मेंबर है उन्होंने क्वेश्चन कर दिया था. वो लोग थे पटना और बेंगलुरु में. डॉक्टर रंगनाथन, एम आई रॉन्ग?
अरे आप कहां से कहां जाइएगा, ये आपकी अपनी समझदारी है. जिस केस पे आप बात कर रहे थे उस पे तो आपने लोगों को गुमराह किया ना. आपने
पहली बात तो
एक केस में.
अब आप सुन लीजिए यादव जी, वो तो डॉक्टर रंगनाथन तो भाजपा से पढ़ के नहीं आए, उनको वो तो जेएनयू से हैं. जेएनयू में तो मानते हैं आप, वो उनकी सुनिए.
नहीं, मुझे भी मुझे भी संघी डिक्लेयर किया जा चुका है, तो मैं भी संघी हूं, ऐसी कोई बात नहीं है। नवल किशोर जी अभी मुझे संघी बोलने वाले हैं, बीजेपी स्टूज बोलने वाले हैं, लेकिन मैं इनसे एक सवाल पूछना चाहता हूँ।
बोलिए ना,
हाँ, डॉक्टर नवल किशोर जी एक बार सुन लीजिए। क्या आपका ये कहना है कि वो जो राहुल गांधी की जो कन्विक्शन हुई है, अभी हुई है, वो आप मानते नहीं उस कन्विक्शन को? इज ही अ कॉन्विक्ट और इज ही नॉट? प्लीज आंसर दिस सिंपल क्वेश्चन.
No, please answer one more question. Is that case is there before the Supreme Court or not?
How does that matter? Is the conviction to be upheld until the Supreme Court turns it?
No.
Overturns
What
it.
is the meaning of?
What is the purpose of a court?
What is the
Pranesh, I'm
purpose
sorry,
of
what are we
the-
discussing?
No. Yeah,
Are we
you-
discussing
no,
that
you must-
the
you
justice
must-
is only
you
going
must-
to be meted by
Arre,
Supreme Court? No other
you
court is going to
must-
ever. I mean,
Arre,
we
please
have a lawyer
listen.
sitting
Listen
there,
to
Lokesh
answer.
Jindal. Lokesh,
Don't
can you
get into
please?
the-
Lokesh Jindal has never been more
Lokesh,
quiet
you
on
are
a debate.
Arre,
You are a officer
Lokesh
of the
Jindal,
court.
Lokesh Jindal
for
does not
heaven's
know
sake.
what to say. I understand his
Pranesh,
majburi.
No.
He's not even raising
There
his
is no
hand, Dr.
majburi at
Ranganathan.
all.
I mean, just look at Lokesh Jindal. I'm feeling bad for him.
No, there's no majburi at all.
You must understand.
Lokesh,
Well,
please illuminate your
No. See, listen, over here,
You have a
what
responsibility,
Dr. Nawal
Lokesh.
Kishore says over here is, when appeal has been filed and higher court is taking the matter, and which is sub judice, till that point
But the
of time,
sentence is not
conviction does
suspended.
not stand.
No, 1 minute. 1 minute. ये जो अपील है वो तो
Conviction
जब
does
होगा
not
तब होगा.
stand.
No,
Have you
till
lost
the
your
time
mind?
the higher court does
What
not
are you saying?
adjudicate the matter, but till the time
This is-
the higher court does not
this is
adjudicate the matter.
अच्छा एक बात बताइए लोकेश जिंदल एक आज 1 minute. ज्ञान वापी survey was allowed.
Absolutely shocking.
Both sides have
No,
no. Muslim side has no. 1 minute.
Wait,
Lokesh Jindal 1 minute. The masjid side has moved Supreme Court. Will the survey not take place tomorrow morning?
When you are appealing to a higher judiciary and the higher judiciary.
Mr. Jindal, क्या हो गया sir? Put your lawyer hat on.
No, Pranesh, let's be very clear. Let's be very
Conviction
clear.
has not been stayed.
If at all, the appeal has been made to a higher judiciary and the higher judiciary considers that appeal, till the time the matter is not
But till the time the higher judiciary says something, overturns the order, what are we even discussing? डॉक्टर नवल किशोर यादव आप डिबेट को कहां से कहां लेके चले गए?
You do not understand.
क्या हो गया?
You do not understand the difference between judgment and justice. That is your mistake.
Judgment
You
and
must
justice.
understand there can be a judgment.
सर
But
हाथ
that
जोड़ रहा हूं मैं तो.
judgment is not equal to justice.
Justice.
अरे हाथ
Justice Yadav on the panel today.
अरे
I think Pranesh, you have lost the track.
That's why I'm telling you that आपका डिबेट
Pranesh,
जो है
I
आज
think you
पहली बार
should
मैं
stick to the debate.
मुझे नहीं मालूम था कि इतना घटिया सोच से ग्रसित है आप. फैसला
अब आप सर देखिए आप इतनी अच्छे शब्द मेरे लिए इस्तेमाल कर रहे हैं.
बिल्कुल
ये आप कीजिए. आप मैं आपके आगे डॉक्टर्स के बाद जस्टिस भी जोड़ रहा हूं. आप मुझे अमित शाह कह चुके हैं. आप मुझे बीजेपी हेडक्वार्टर भेज चुके हैं. अब आप मुझे घटिया सोच से ड्रेसिंग कह चुके हैं. देखिए नवल किशोर यादव जी, सच्चाई तो है. सच्चाई ये है कि लालू यादव को सजा हुई थी. अब आप इसमें यू कैन हैव स्लीपलेस नाइट्स ओवर इट. यो दैट्स नॉट माय प्रॉब्लम. लेट मी ब्रिंग इन डॉक्टर मुनी. आकाशदीप मुनी इज अ रीजनेबल मैन. प्लीज, ही इज नॉट स्पोकन एंड लुक एट हाउ डिसिप्लिन्ड ही इज. एक बार भी उन्होंने कुछ नहीं बोला. डॉक्टर मुनी, जो हमने डिबेट शुरू किया था उस पर हम आएंगे, बट वेरी क्विकली आप बता दीजिए डॉक्टर नवल किशोर यादव को, ये लोअर कोर्ट हायर कोर्ट ये क्या है? अगर राहुल गांधी को सजा हुई है लोअर कोर्ट से एंड टिल द सुप्रीम कोर्ट इंटरवीन्स, वो सजा है कि नहीं है?
नहीं, प्रणेश, I'll come to the point of discussion rather than
नहीं, एक बार ये भी बता दीजिए सर. वहां चलते चलते आएंगे.
I'll come to the point of discussion. Dr. Kishore, can I come to the discussion? The discussion today we have on Delhi ordinance. And today, with all my conviction, I can say that even Dr. Ranganathan was beating around the bush. He was so unsure of the facts. And BJP will lie, of course. But the people who are balanced, they should be balanced. Why I'm saying this, I'll put my facts.
Very disappointing.
First and foremost, this particular issue of Delhi ordinance, where you are making a quorum of 3 people. I want to tell to the country, 3 लोगों का quorum बनाया जा रहा है, जिसमें चेयरमैन है चीफ मिनिस्टर, बट बाकी 2 लोग हैं Home Secretary and Chief Secretary. Wait a minute. The Home Secretary and the Chief Secretary. It means that each and every decision of the executive can be brought down by the bureaucracy. आपने पूरे गवर्नेंस को उल्टा पुल्टा कर दिया, एग्जीक्यूटिव को नीचे कर दिया और ब्यूरोक्रेसी को ऊपर. फर्स्ट, second point. No, second point. No, don't interrupt me. Don't interrupt me, Mr. Ranganathan. I have not interrupted you. First and foremost. Second point. How can you? A sitting chief minister cannot do a transfer. A sitting chief minister cannot even bring section 144 when there is need of. The sitting chief minister has no right, and you have given all the rights to the two bureaucrats. And if the two bureaucrats agree with the chief minister and agree to take out a decision, they can be overpowered by the LG. The two bureaucrats and the LG will be selected by the central government of this country, not the state government. It means that election क्यों करवाते हो? अगर और उन्होंने बोला
परवेश वर्मा नहीं थे, उनके पिताजी थे.
Sorry, सात सिंह वर्मा से.
उनको मत बनाइए.
I apologize. सात सिंह वर्मा जी थे और उन्होंने बोला था कि दिल्ली का चीफ मिनिस्टर बनने से अच्छा है कि मैं
because
इसलिए बोला था, ऐसे इसलिए बोला था. एक मिनट.
You said Dr. Ranganathan was beating around the bush.
5 seconds. No. Wait a minute. We cannot have a.
अरे 5 सेकंड आप स्टॉप वॉच शुरू ही नहीं कर रहे हैं, बोले जा रहे हैं. हो तो गया 5 सेकंड.
अरे डॉक्टर रंगनाथन को आधा घंटा थोड़ी ना दे देंगे, हमें भी दे दीजिए 2 मिनट.
अब आप बोलिए सर, वन डॉक्टर वर्सेस अनदर. एक डॉक्टर तो देखिए अलग टेंजेंट में चले गए.
5 सेकंड. Don't interrupt.
Okay, let's give him 5.
बीजेपी ने 2003 में, 1983 में, 1988 में हर बार प्रॉमिस किया फुल स्टेटहुड का. कहां गए वो प्रॉमिसेस? आज जवाब क्यों नहीं दे रहे हैं? आपके चैनल पे बैठे हुए आरपी सिंह जी क्यों इधर उधर की बातें कर रहे हैं?
आरपी सिंह से भी पूछेंगे. डॉक्टर रंगनाथन, यू कमिंग क्विकली. आरपी सिंह, आई एम कमिंग टू यू. डॉक्टर रंगनाथन, क्विकली. We'll have to move on.
Yes, very quickly. Yes, very quickly, Dr. Muni, please. I didn't realize that when you were not speaking, you weren't listening also. I was unequivocal. I was as scathing, and I said, I don't know whether you heard me or not, maybe there was some audio problem, that I said I blame the BJP and the Congress both because they had promised statehood. But I also said, which the fact that you have not disputed. I quoted the Supreme Court, and I quote again, try and dispute me, open challenge. I will give 15 lakhs into your bank account if you can dispute me. Quote. Supreme Court judgment. However, if Parliament enacts a law granting executive power on any subject which is within the domain of NCTT, no, please don't interrupt. Within the domain of NCTT,
is different.
No, this is very unfair. This is very unfair. I did not interrupt you because I am quoting Supreme Court. So please, let me not misquote it, and you will otherwise say that I have misquoted Supreme Court. I will be under contempt of court. Please. However, if Parliament enacts a law granting executive power on any subject which is within the domain of NCTD, the executive power of the LG shall be modified to the extent as provided in that law, which is what the BJP government has done. That is a loophole they have exploited. आपने मुझे सुना ही नहीं. I am against the ordinance. I am against what the bill has brought in. What are you talking about? How am I beating about the bush? You are beating
I'll
about
tell you what happened here. I'll tell you. Before the debate began, Dr. Muni did not expect you to take that position.
Their rights have been snatched.
And that's what has happened. So he came prepared with a text, and then you changed your stand, or maybe you did not deliver to his expectation, but he delivered his speech. So that is what happened. Okay, Dr. Muni, आपने सवाल पूछा बीजेपी से. आरपी सिंह जी, रेस्पॉन्ड टू दैट. ये डबल स्पीक है आपकी.
कभी प्रनेश ऐसा सोचा था कि दिल्ली के अंदर 400 एम्प्लॉय रख लिए जाएंगे, एमएलएस के जीजा, साले, वाइफ, गर्लफ्रेंड. एक मिनट सर, टोकन है आपको. मैंने सुना ना सबको. मैंने सर इधर सर बात सुन लीजिए सर. एक और उनकी,
अरे बोलने दीजिए उनको. डॉक्टर मुनी प्लीज, वील हैव टू मूव ऑन. दूसरा भी एक डिबेट है. डॉक्टर यादव वैसे ही गुस्सा है.
So the problem is, Pranesh, problem is that we never expected this sort of governance, this sort of anarchism in city where chief secretaries are called at their residence and trashed, where people are appointed, the relatives of the MLAs and the party men are appointed at their will with a package of 50,000 to 2 lakh rupees or more. So if this is going to happen, and then Vigilance Department files are tampered with, or the officers are told that you sign on a dotted line, or the cabinet notes are altered with, so all this happens, then obviously the things have to change.
Let's see, the bill has been passed in the Lok Sabha. Team India will be on test in Rajya Sabha. They have said that they will somehow try and oppose this. And let's see how this unfolds. I thank all of you for joining us on debate number 1. We are moving on, viewers. The showdown over freebies has intensified.